once again, everybody, and welcome back to the field in which I found 3 buckles last time I was here and a thimble. Since my last visit, I've had loads of great comments and feedback from you guys about the little bit of LiDAR that I showed. I use the National Library of Scotland online resource. It's a free resource that anyone can use to find out about historical maps in your area for your permissions or your home or places you're going to visit. It's really fascinating. It was staring me in the face and I just didn't really think it through, because I actually detect on a piece of ridge and furrow land in Wiltshire, and it's very visible in the landscape, the undulating land. Here not so, but in the map you can quite clearly see it. So we're going to go today and see if we can find anything that points to the medieval people that were working there. First find of the day, literally moments in, I didn't even bother filming it. It's a pretty nicely crafted pin. I don't think it's an awl because it's got a slight curve to it, and also it's not got a very obviously square profile. I mean, it could be an awl. Definitely got a kind of bronzy appearance to it, and it's got a very nice sculptural kind of shape. An awl is a tool that was used in Bronze Age times to make punch holes in things. So they're not that uncommon of a find here in the UK. I found one Bronze Age chisel terminal. I know lots of my friends have found fragments or parts of an awl. I found one myself actually in Wiltshire, a little piece of one. Right, this kind of signal is exactly what we want. It's on the line, nice and round. Okay, I know where I'm going to try and dig. Right, where's it got to? Ooh. Ooh, hold on a minute. It's a thin disc. Is it possible? Oh, it doesn't feel quite right. I mean, oh, hang on a minute. It's got a very silvery edge. Spray this. I think I can see something on it. Can you? It's a bloody hammered coin! It's a hammered coin! My first silver with the manticore. I think it's a hammered coin. I can see dots. Let's clean it. Oh, it's something, isn't it? It's got to be, because there's markings on it. Surely it's a hammered coin. Is it? Isn't it? Oh, I'm going to say it is. Look, it's got markings in it. I can see it's a hammered bloody coin. What am I on about? Look, this is my first silver with the manticore. And I don't find very many hammered coins, so I just want to say I'm really chuffed. Really chuffed. I don't know what kind it is, but someone will know. 3 dots, it's a long cross. It's a hammered coin though, isn't it? There's no mistaking it. I could see the silver on that cut edge there. This side, really not much to see at all, and it made me think that perhaps it wasn't a coin at all and just one of those annoying little discs you find sometimes. But there's no mistaking what's on the inside, is there? That's hammered, and that's a medieval coin. We're on the right lines. Let's just keep searching. 54.55. And what do we have here? Not far away from that coin. It's definitely an artefact. It's a kind of clasp, isn't it, with a pin that's running through it. At first I thought it might be one of those shoe clog clasp things, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a kind of, I don't know, could it be a book clasp? It's got a very nice shape to it. And you can see that it's got a kind of iron pin that's running through the centre. It must have been attached to something there. I feel like that might be a book clasp, but let me know if you think I'm wrong. I have another permission with a ridge and furrow and I haven't found a single thing. I hoped I would find coins there, but I haven't. So to find a hammered coin is really great, and it's actually, I'm pretty sure, an earlier coin than this farm, which may indicate that this farm has been here a lot longer than the oldest listed building that's on it now. The farm has several names, and the oldest one, which is on the oldest maps, is actually of Saxon origin. The word itself, I looked it up, it's Saxon in origin, which is really exciting because it means potentially there are much older things to find here. I also know that there was a Bronze Age spearhead found on the beach just over there. So like ancient history here, right through medieval into the post-medieval. So far we've found objects going back further than the farm here with that coin. I mean, that's an amazing find. That really does open things up here, and I feel like this quadrant of the field is the most exciting so far, but we just got to give it more time, haven't we? And who knows what we're going to find. I'm very excited to have found that coin. I'm wondering whether, since it's in such atrocious condition, to try to actually bend it back into shape so that I can see a bit more what the age could be of that coin. I mean, the worst case scenario, it snaps. I sent a picture of that cruddy hammered coin to my friends and said, yes, I found my first hammered with the Manticore and my second hammered in Devon, and I'm so excited. It's really poor condition, but I'm so excited. And from that pathetic folded picture, my friend came back and said, oh, that looks like an Edward I penny, silver penny, minted in York. I mean, how do people know these things? I don't know. My friends are amazing. I'm so lucky. I've got loads of people to ask, and they just know what to do straight away. What do we know about an Edward penny? Well, that was minted sometime between 1272 and 1307. Now we're not far off the date of that church in the far distance there. Isn't that amazing? Welcome back to Car HQ, everybody. The find of the day for me is going to be the hammered coin. I mean, it's a real coup for me to find a hammered coin in Devon, first of all, but to find a medieval one here in this field after just sort of discovering the provenance of those ridges. Now, the decision we have to make here, guys, do I or don't I have a go at bending it back into shape? Now, I have watched people do this in the field and I always wince because I think, oh, what if you broke it? What if you broke it? But I think given that this coin is really not in good condition anyway, it's been bent in half probably by the plough, I feel like I'm going to try. The suggestion is to use the whole pad of your finger and thumb. I think if I do it when I'm in the warm, it might be easier to do, but I'm just doing it now. I'm just flexing it gently, and I can already feel it's a lot of resistance, and I'm just not sure. I'm kind of doing it now. I think I've made a bit of a difference. What we know about these pennies is that they were worth quite a lot of money to somebody working in the fields. An unskilled farm labourer working in the fields would have earned one of these a day. And as you go up the ranks to things like more skilled work, like a carpenter or a mason would earn 4 of these a day. How am I doing? Is it making a difference? I feel it is. What do you think? Just going to keep doing this. Sometime tonight it will be open again. My friend said, bend it, bend it, bend it. I could hear him chanting it through the text. I reckon I've done quite a good job. Come on, little coin. You know you want to be bent. Back again. And this time with even more information about this field. I now know exactly where I'm stood and I know exactly what this field was used for. This was a ridge and furrow field. The word furlong refers to a furrow long. It's around 220 yards or 200 metres. I think this field is about that long. I might just quickly do a recce by taking some big steps, which my steps are around about a metre if I go wide. So I'm going to just see how long is this field? Is it a furlong? Let's have a look. Right, let's start at the edge and give it some big paces. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 160. 170. 180, 190, and I'm here at the end of the boundary of the field. Well, I might be slightly out. I mean, we're aiming for 200. I'd say that's a furlong. How interesting. So, as we walk back, I will tell you a bit more about ridge and furrow. So apparently, a furlong is the length of the field, and then it was split into strips. In medieval times, a family would have one strip each, and they're around 5 metres wide. You can see it's on a slope. It's a south-facing slope, because that's the best place for growing things. But even now, as I'm walking it, underfoot, it's quite soggy and damp. So, the clever thing about ridge and furrow was that our medieval and pre-medieval ancestors planted different crops in different part of the field. At the top, you'd plant wheat. And then at the bottom, as the water runs down the field, you would plant pulses like beans and peas, and you would plant something called dredge, which is a mixture of oats and barley. So if you can imagine where I'm standing now, there were big stripes running down this field. You can still see it on the LiDAR. Each one potentially would have been 6 feet high. The British landscape is covered in field systems. It looks so natural, but of course it's all completely fabricated by man through the ages. So every time you see a field, remember that what you're looking at is a boundary that's been made by somebody. I mean, Britain is a good example of a pretty manipulated landscape. Everything has been made by man, as natural as it looks. If that doesn't give you incentive to go out and look for things, I don't know what would. Here's an interesting little find. It's a piece of ceramic and it's a piece of spongeware. And that is a 19th century piece of ceramic. And it's a technique where fine sponges were used to make patterns on really cheap earthenware pots, and then they were second fired. So basically they're made by people who probably lived here. Spongeware bowls would have been used to serve things like soup to the farm workers that worked here in the 1800s. That's actually a really nice find, because I'm thinking I might make some soup later. But I'm going to use a medieval recipe. And I'm going to use the same kind of green split peas that our medieval ancestors here would have harvested and dried and kept for protein source all year round. Nice signal here on the line, and I can actually see it on the surface of the soil. No need to dig. See if you can spot it. There it is. Now, I don't know what that is. It could be a fragment of a buckle. Very nice artefact though, isn't it? Do you know what? I really feel like I'm making some progress with this manticore. I've just heard a signal which at first it didn't look good on the display. I could see that it was going away from the middle line, which is the sort of sweet spot which you want for good things. But I could hear something good. I could hear something that made me stop in my tracks, and I investigated it further, and after a few passes the signal improved and the image on the screen improved too. So now what I can see, please don't go away. Okay, well now it looks good. And I have a sneaky suspicion we might have found a Roman coin. Hey, look at this. Now, I found a lot of Roman coins, and I'm going to say this feels like one. If this is a Roman coin, you guys, I'm going to be very, very happy for a number of reasons. First of all, it really does make this piece of land very interesting. I just know that this is a Roman coin. I just know that it is. I've seen enough of these to know. But we won't know which one. Another nice signal here. Looks good, doesn't it? Similar kind of sound to the last thing we found, the Roman coin, but I daren't dream. Oh, I see what it is. It's a musket ball. A sea mist is blowing in. What we call a pea souper. Which is ironic because that's what we're going to make later on. A medieval pea soup. Or peas pottage. Look. Another piece of that spongeware. Keep going like this, we'll have a whole bowl we can use for our soup. Oh, hello. That couldn't be more round and on the line, could it? Oh, here we are. I think I can see what it is already. I'm going to name this field Buckle Field from now on. Oh, that's a lovely one, isn't it? Look at that. Absolutely stonkingly beautiful. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? I have to say, this for Devon, this field is just brilliant because there's a deer. There's a deer. Hello, lovely deer. How lovely in the mist. You can see their white tails. Now they're going through to the next field, which is also a ridge and furrow field. We could have fun in here for years, you guys. Another clue, another clue. And it all seems to be concentrated up at this end of the field, which is strange because this whole field is ridge and furrow, but this end is closest to the farmhouse. So whoever lost this buckle might well have lived there. I wish I had plotted all these finds because I think they're all happening in one stripe up to down on this field, okay? And that means one family's strip of land. Here's another thing, which I think, where's it gone? Is that it? I've brought a toothbrush. It's got a hole in it, look. And on the back, there are a couple of pins. Well, it's a mount of some kind, isn't it? With a hole in the top. It's got a very kind of medieval feel to it to me. No idea what it is. But I like it anyway. This is what it's all about, isn't it? It's been a very happy morning of detecting. I'm absolutely thrilled with this new field. I really, really am. And I want to show you what I found so far here, because it illustrates perfectly why this hobby is just brilliant. And why I think everyone should give it a go. This is what I found in my past few visits here to this small section of field, which I now know was part of a ridge and furrow farmed landscape on the site of a 16th century farm, but obviously with much more ancient provenance, because when you go right back to this end of my finds, you can see that I found a Bronze Age awl, a Roman coin, then we're into the medieval stuff with this Edward I penny. I think this, which I found today, I think is a piece of a strap end. I'll have to clean these things properly, obviously, when I get home, because I haven't got my cleaning stuff with me. Buckle after buckle, and I found musket balls. I found a nail today, which I just pulled out just to show you the difference between a nail and an awl, because sometimes you can get confused. The first thing to do, if you think you might have found a fragment of an awl, is to check it with a magnet, because nails are often made of iron-based material, which obviously the magnet will respond to, whereas an awl won't. This is made of copper alloy material or bronze, and I actually brought with me to show you another awl fragment that I found. I think it's quite useful to look at these two objects together because they have got a lot of similarities. The one on the left is a late Bronze Age awl fragment that I found in Wiltshire. You can see that it has a kind of square cut profile, very similar in size actually, and I have done the magnet test. It is made of bronze. Without doing a composition test on it, it would be quite hard to date, but I feel like it has got a kind of awl feeling to it because it's got a kind of square profile to it, and it's obviously made of bronze. So I won't know that unless I get a test done, and I'm not going to do that. But you can see from the end that it's got a kind of square profile to it. I'm making a medieval soup this evening. I've just burnt my finger on a cast iron pot trying to make it because I want to try a recipe from the date of that ridge and furrow landscape, knowing what I now know about the kind of crops that were planted there. And one of the crops that were planted there was pulses, which would have been a source of protein. Meat would have been scarce. I burnt my finger just before I came live. That's the kind of thing I do for you guys. Meat was for the elite, yes. I have used in my recipe some little bacon pieces. I'm guessing they would have used meat fats, things like butter and bacon fat to make to cook with. So I've used bacon fat. Medieval pottage, probably. Pretty blah. Well, you haven't tasted mine, Steve. This is going to be good. I can smell it's going to be good already. I got the closest I could. Yellow split peas. So let's see what we can do with these things. So I'd like to say thanks again everyone for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've had so much fun and I'm looking forward to coming back here and seeing what else I can find here. For now though, I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to point you to a video that I made about this area, just about a mile along the coastline from here. There was a Bronze Age find made on the beach by a man in the 80s, I think, who was walking along and happened to stumble across something, and I included it as part of a video I made previously, so I'm going to point you to that so that you can see a little bit more about the Bronze Age history of this area. Enjoy everyone, bye!